Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone and tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant. I guess I keep saying pinch hitting, substituting for Jeremy this morning. It is Tuesday, July 12th. It's 6:09. I think the sun's coming up sometime this morning, but it'll definitely be up because it's going to be a high of 82 degrees today at the Jersey Shore. A great day to get out, get up, and do something. And I have my 6 o'clock guest with me this morning. I have Katie Chambers and Suzanne Hart of Holisticare Hospice. I did it right.
You did it right.
I did it right. Thank you. I got it. And we are here this morning going to talk about Holisticare Hospice, talk about what you do, for your patients, as well as really what you do for the families of these patients. So, if I always listen to Jeremy every morning, one of the things he always says is, you woke up one morning and decided that this is what you wanted to get into. And so tell me a little bit. We'll start with Katie. I'll go back and forth. Start with Katie.
Sure.
How did you get into this? And what do you do at Holisticare?
So I have been in healthcare for about 17 years, and I was looking for more meaningful work within the industry. I had had two very positive experiences with hospice through family members, so I always felt drawn to hospice work, and through a very good friend of mine, she got me in touch with Holisticare. I met with the three owners, who are amazing women, and the rest is history. I serve as their community liaison, and I'm also a certified end-of-life doula.
Oh, what's that?
So similar, have you heard of a birthing doula?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I'm at the other end of life.
Okay.
So I am an enhancement to the already amazing support services that we have through our social workers and chaplains and nurses. I come in at the end. I do some legacy projects with the patients. And at the very last phase of life, I sit vigil with them during the dying process.
Yeah. And how long have you been with Holisticare?
It will be a year in October.
Oh, wow. So you're a newbie.
I am a newbie.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, are you new to the area, or you've been in the area for
Born
years?
and raised in Toms River.
Oh. Where'd you go to high school?
High School North.
Oh, so my daughter just graduated from High School North.
Both my girls graduated from High School North as well. So we love it here.
Yeah, definitely. Can't see that I would ever live anywhere. I'm not a homie. I grew up in New Brunswick, but I've been down here since '92, and I probably would never be anywhere else.
Yeah, it's great here.
Definitely a place to be. Now, Suzanne, what's your background?
My background, I've been a nurse for about 37 years, and 6 years into being a nurse, I lived in New York City, and I went to church in a Catholic hospital where a priest talked to the parishioners in this little tiny chapel about the fact that this hospital was going to take on a new project that Medicare had, that hospice care was coming to the United States, and they were going to open a unit. So at that point, I remember turning to my mother saying, I think that's what I have to do in my life. So I started, that's where my journey with end-of-life care started. And 37 years later, probably 25 years of my career has been with end-of-life care.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you end up at the Jersey Shore?
Well, after we got married and had children, I thought it would be a really nice place to raise them. And I haven't regretted it. I love it here.
New York City, Jersey. I mean, I like to go into New York to see a play every now and then. So I always say it's a good place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there as everybody starts yelling at me online right now. But it definitely, I mean, quality of life and to raise a family at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
I couldn't see a better place. So, not what you do every day is the comfort of a multifaceted situation between the patient,
right?
Okay, and their comfort, their quality of life towards the end, and then also dealing with the family. That has got to be a difficult balance. How does one manage that?
Well, I think when we go into this work with the individuals who choose end-of-life care, We know that from the very start, from the very day we start care with them, that we have 2 people or 3 people or 5 people that we're caring for. This is a transition. This is a family event. This is sometimes a ritual for this family. They don't understand what this looks like. We're there to teach them, to guide them, not to do the work for them, to help them understand what's ahead of them. And so I think that the families especially don't understand that when we come on board as a hospice program, we're there to make sure that there is comfort and dignity at the end of life, however that looks for that person, and that we're also there for the family for 13 months after that individual leaves us.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So after the family member passes, you stay with the family?
We keep in contact with them. So as we get to know them, we try and understand how it is that they think that they are coping, would be the word I guess I would use, with this life event. And if we begin to see stressors or strains as we're going through the care, we may call them once a week. We may visit them. We may invite them to a memorial service. We send them newsletters. So we really approach it individually depending on how that person may be doing, what we see around that.
Okay, so then you kind of become a family advisor.
Exactly.
And you're there's probably a benefit there because you're taking it from a different set of eyes. Because sometimes when you're very close to the situation, you are the family member, you don't see the things that are happening right in your own house.
That's right.
And so you get involved in that. And I guess with holistic care, and I keep saying that over and over again because I butchered the name before and I do apologize. We talked a little about when we were preparing that you are in people's homes. So how do people choose you? How do people reach out to you?
So a lot of times we get referrals from facilities. So we provide hospice care wherever they reside. So if that's in a home, we go to the home. If that's in a facility, we're in the facility. A lot of our home cares are referred to by our primary care physicians in Ocean and Monmouth County through word of mouth. They then call our office. We do an evaluation on the patient to make sure that they're appropriate for our services. And then through our fantastic team, we all come together. We get all of the medical equipment into the home, get the patient set up and ready for services to be comfortable.
So you just said something, and this was something I didn't realize, so let's talk about this a little more. So let's say a individual is in a home or in a rehabilitation center or a hospital, and they're going to be moved to a separate setting. They could request you to come into that facility.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's not necessarily facility specific where just the people who handle hospice in that facility, you can out and request people to come in.
Absolutely.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
All hospices are not created equal. We pride ourselves on being a little different. We're a little boutique style where, because we're privately owned, we can say yes to certain requests when other hospices have to say no because they're owned by larger corporations. We don't have anyone to answer to.
Okay.
So if a patient requires some special equipment, a special bed, we can say yes.
And how many people locally work for your facility, your company?
I would say right now we have about 47 full-time employees, and that's comprised of nurses, chaplains, social workers, nursing aides.
Okay. We're going to have to go to break. When we come back from the break, what I want to talk about is really how people find you and how is it always a perfect match? And is it something that, sometimes maybe you may not be the best result or solution for them, and and how that works out. Because again, I think this is probably, and maybe we'll talk about a story I said, one of the most difficult times for some family members to deal with. But we will be back in a moment. Remember to join the conversation at 732-505-1160. Back.
The Sean Hannity Show, this afternoon at 3. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin returns next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Now, back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
Not written down in front of me. Oh, we're back. Look at that. That was really quick. Well, that's the first time I've done that. Welcome back. Good morning. It is 6:22, July 12th, and we are here this morning talking to Katie Chambers and Suzanne Hart of Holistic Care Hospice. And we were having this conversation and talking deeply, and I didn't even realize the red lights came on, and Zach was sitting there pounding on the glass. So that's a good thing, though. That's always a good interview when you are definitely involved.
Keeping you on your toes.
You are. And it's funny, too, because I saw you walk out of the room, so I figured I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then I saw you scoot quickly back in, but I guess I need to pay more attention, but I need to pay attention to the ladies in front of me here.
Sorry, I was
important.
out there catching Pokemon. Sorry.
You were. Okay. Well, we're gonna put Pokemon aside for right now, and what we are going to talk about, though. Well, I won't even go there. But we're talking about hospice, which again, I think is, one of those sensitive, tough times in people's lives. And so I said we're going to talk about one thing, but I want to ask a question first. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to the decision of hospice, okay, is that strictly a medical decision where it's the doctor saying this patient is ready, or is it a culmination of doctor and family? How does that work?
It really is a culmination of doctor, individual, and family. Somebody's condition that they're living with may be, in the physician's eyes, in an area of limited life expectancy. So that physician may recommend that there is a hospice program if they're interested in that. But it's very important. It's a choice of care. And we respect whatever that choice is in these individuals that we talk to. For some individuals, they might not yet be ready to embrace hospice. It may be too scary for them. And the important thing is that they come to the realization and the choice when it's right for them. So doctors certainly guide them based on what it is they see with their disease process. And I would hope that a hospice team, somebody on the hospice team, would be able to lay it out in such a way in describing that it wouldn't be fearful for them. Because truthfully, our role is to guide, to teach, and to support. And unfortunately, we can't change the outcome of what their disease is telling them, but we can change how that looks for them and how that might feel for them.
And you kind of you described it as a team,
Yes,
so hospice is not an individual nurse going to somebody's home, but there's a lot behind it and a lot that comes to the family as well as the patient's aid.
Absolutely. I mean, it was purposely developed years and years ago. And don't forget, the hospice type of philosophy of care began in the 1800s. I mean, it's not a new concept. But the concept is that you bring a group of people together that have expertise in the heart, emotional issues going on, in the spirit and in the physical ailments that might happen, in the weaknesses that might happen. Everybody works together because when somebody is with a limited life expectancy, it is a type of care that you need to really minister to the mind, body, and spirit. It's not all about the medication. It's not all about the equipment or the supplies. It's about what is the life goal. This individual, what are they telling us about what they want to achieve with the time they have left? And how can we as a team make that happen for them to the best of our ability? So it may be the nurse setting up the medication regime in such a way that the social worker can get them in a car to get them to their boat, to get them to go fishing for the last time. And what is that goal, and how do all of us play into that to make that happen?
So it's almost a balance of both the physical and the mental state of the patient, and making sure that, again, that their last days are very comfortable and under their terms.
Absolutely, under their terms.
Under their terms. So when we come back from another break, because of course I butchered us when we came in. So when we come back from the news break, we are going to talk more about how people select hospice, and that not all hospice is alike. And so, why they're going to come to Holistic Care to get that best possible service. Remember, join the conversation at 732-505-1160. We'll be back in a moment.
Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center overlooking the Toms River, it's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant, pinch hitting for Jeremy this morning. It is 6:34 on July 12th, and it will be 82 degrees today in downtown Toms River. It'll be a great day to be at the beach. Make sure to use that sunscreen and do not burn. We want to make sure we take care of everybody in our listening area. And we are continuing our conversation this morning with Katie Chambers and Suzanne Hart of Holistic Care Hospice, who have joined us at the 6 o'clock hour. And as we went to break, we were talking a little bit more about how not every hospice is created equally or alike, and that people have a choice. Mm-hmm. And as to, when the doctor and the family and everybody comes together as that team and talks about that it's time to talk hospice, that they could basically make a decision as to where they want to go with that service, even if they are in a facility. So how does that process work, and how do they reach out to you? And importantly, how do they find you?
Yes, absolutely. It is a choice of care, number one, hospice, as we talked about. So if somebody wants comfort at the end of life and wants to be in the facility with our services, in their home with our services, all that has to happen is they let their healthcare provider know, whether they're in a major medical center, whether they're in an ECF or nursing home. The family on their behalf or themselves, if they're talking for themselves, need to let maybe their nurse know or their social worker know, and a call would be placed out to the physician. That is how the referral process starts. The physician, of course, needs to then make the determination that somebody's condition is with a limited life expectancy. We are finding more and more as hospice becomes a very important and vital part of people's healing into the dying process, which is a difficult concept to wrap your head around, that physicians really are much more open to hospice being a part of a healthcare plan. And so the call goes out to the doctor. The doctor puts an order in for Holistic Care Hospice to come, and we are able to go into any building, any facility, because it's their choice. It's their right to choose whatever program they want.
But families can also choose you directly.
Absolutely, they could.
Now, how would they contact you directly?
Yeah, they can contact us. I'll give our phone number if anybody is interested, 732-731-8100. We would welcome and honor calls from families anytime with even a question about hospice, even if it's not the time for them or their family, to understand what the program is like, to understand what the philosophy is about. Families can ask whatever questions they want. It is not uncommon for Holistic Care to go out and do informational visits with families.
That was my question.
Even before the physician has given us an order to evaluate the individual or evaluate the situation, we can provide information. Far better for somebody from Holistic Care to come out and talk to somebody than try and research it on the internet yourself. Because there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of unknowns that the internet's not going to tell you.
Yeah, the internet's not going to give me that personal touch, that understanding, that warmth. And I think, really when it comes to that care at end of life, you really want to be with somebody that you're comfortable with, and that you want your family member to be with somebody that you're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these conversations are difficult to have. So, we're honored when a family calls us and says, I think it's time for mom or dad, but I'm scared. I'm scared to have this conversation, the H word, hospice. We're honored when we're invited into the home to educate the families, the community on what hospice is and what it is at Holistic Care that we do to provide that comfort and healing towards their journey at end of life.
Okay. And give us the phone number one more time, how they contact you.
732-731-8100.
So this is usually the time, and this is the time now, on the Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, that we give you the Jeremy Grunin magic wand. It comes with, fairy dust and pixie dust and stars and, there's confetti falling from the sky right now. And this is where you get to, the opportunity, unlimited resources, unlimited money, unlimited thoughts, anything, your wildest dreams that you could do to give back or help people within your community or within your service area. So we'll start with Katie because she said she was going to think about this for 2.5 hours. So I'm going to put her on the spot now. So she's got to
I think I'm ready.
Okay, go.
I'm ready. Within our company, I would make every patient's end of life wish happen. Whether that be going to Greece, we'll take you.
Yeah.
I would want every patient at end of life to have it all come together, to complete their circle, to complete their journey. And sometimes that could just be having their family with them. Mm-hmm. But with those unlimited resources, I would make every
wish come true.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Suzanne, can you top that one? No.
I was going to say that is a really hard one to top.
That's a hard one to top.
I think for me, because this work has always been so passionate for me, and as a nurse, I will retire doing this work. I think for me, the opportunity to be invited, like we are today, to any kind of a venue to open the minds and hearts of people we talk to about the importance of this care. The reason being that referrals to hospice come very late, and I think that the opportunity to be invited in to an individual's life, to meet the goals, as Katie says, to have that money to help them perhaps meet that goal, and to help them to understand that we're there to honor what it is that they want. The second part of my magic wand would be that we go to people wherever they are. But there are people that cannot afford to be in an extended care facility, that may have concerns or limitations in their home. And I would hope that there would be an opportunity to have a freestanding hospice facility that not only goes by Medicare regulation for inpatient level of care, which is part of the Medicare hospice benefit, but where there could be benefactors, money that could support people that have no home and need a place to be, and preferably be on the water where it would be beautiful and calming.
And maybe Greece. So you can travel.
Or
Everyone
Greece.
can end up going to Greece. But I think both of your wishes or use of the wand are perfect because I think one hand it satisfies the person's last wish, but two also, hospice is a scary word. Mm-hmm. I think when people hear it and to be able to get to people early on and educate them that it's not scary. It is something that is part of life. Right. And here's how we do it to make people comfortable towards the end. Mm-hmm. And so I think it is great. I think what you do is fantastic.
Thank you.
I always say there's a lot of things in life I can't do. Mm-hmm. They're usually physical in nature. But this is definitely something that I would struggle with, and I think it takes a very special person with big hearts to be able to do it. So I thank you for what you do, and I think it is great. So one more time, let's get out there. How can people get a hold of you? Where can they find you? And the best way to be able to talk to you about your services?
They can visit our website as well, which is holisticcarehospice.org. And they can also call us, 732-731-8100.
And that's holisticcarehospice.org.
Correct.
Unlike .com that I started typing in all morning.
That's correct.
Yeah, so it's
.org.
And Katie, Suzanne, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you.